Welcome, y'all, to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming to you after a Rangers victory. Rangers take the third game of this three-game set, 9-1, a much-needed victory after two losses that left something to be desired, and that's putting it nicely. So we're going to get to everything here in just a little bit, all of the key moments, all the scoring, the box score. We're going to go through the individual stats, talk about the highlights of the game, all that good stuff. And for those of you that have been here on our lives before, you've seen our shows in the past, you know, here at Right on Rangers, we cover pretty much everything sports, but we put a special emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate your support. And the Rangers go into the off day tomorrow with a win. I think it's really an important thing that the Rangers got this one. You don't have to sit on an off day after getting swept by the Tigers, really in a series that you feel like the Rangers probably could have won or maybe even swept. I mean, you limited Detroit to, was it like 6 runs in the entire series? I mean, they shut down Detroit's offense by and large. I think the most Detroit scored was, 3? I mean, this is pretty much an example of what's been going on all season for the Rangers. You've got the Rangers putting up really good numbers on the pitching side and not putting up good numbers at all on the offensive side. So to have everybody on the same page tonight, the offense clicking, and you also, of course, have Jose Ureña going 5 perfect innings. That was just great to see. I was really hoping it was going to be one of those special nights where Jose Ureña takes that perfect game deep into it, maybe into the 8th or even the 9th. I kind of had a feeling. And then right after, he gives up the home run, of course, that ends it. And I think that was was that like the guy's first major league home run or something like that? I thought I caught that on the broadcast. But Jose Ureña, what can you say about the job he's done since getting asked to start ball games for us in the wake of all of the pitching injuries that we've had? Jose Ureña has been a very solid starter up to this point, and I don't think you can say anything about him except for positives. I mean, seriously, you've got him stepping up and really being that 4th or 5th guy that really any team would be happy to have. I mean, Jose Ureña started out as a reliever, and we know that he's been asked, obviously, to fill this starting role. There are a ton of teams around the league that would love to have a 4th or 5th guy like Jose Ureña. So our whole entire staff really has spoiled us, I feel, as a whole, with how well they pitched, even the guys that aren't quote-unquote aces, right? You've got the Andrew Heaney's, you've got Ureña, and you've got other guys, even Cody Bradford before he was injured, just guys you really didn't expect to be dominating. I would say those guys are dominating right now. Jose Ureña obviously wasn't facing the Dodgers tonight or the Braves or the Phillies. But that being said, Detroit, about a 500 ball club. I thought that it was an outstanding performance from him. The final line, by the way, on Jose Ureña tonight, Ureña goes 6 2/3. 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 earned run on the home run, 6 strikeouts. It was a near flawless performance from him. You take away the home run, and it's pretty close to perfection. So to see Jose Ureña come out, give the Rangers this kind of start, I really commend the pitching staff, because the pitching staff could easily have that weak mentality, kind of pout, kind of get in their feelings about the lack of offense. And these are major leaguers, but they're still humans. The pitching staff easily could be getting frustrated right now, but I kind of feel like they almost are taking this challenge head on. Okay, their offense isn't playing great right now. Let's go ahead and up our game. Jose Ureña tonight, okay, offense is in a little bit of a slump. I'm going to go ahead and throw 5 perfect innings. Then what? I just love that the pitching staff really does feel like they've taken on the challenge of overcoming the Rangers' lack of runs. There's not frustration. You haven't heard these, little comments here and there in the clubhouse after the game. Look, I think the Rangers, one thing that they do really well, you don't see a lot of frustration coming out of this team, even though clearly right now it's frustrating. Very clearly right now, the offense, how they're playing. I think maybe Bruce Bochy is the only guy that you've heard really get frustrated. And of course, even he's pretty mild-mannered. I think last night we talked about his quote after the game was, we should be able to give up 3 runs and still win a ball game. And that's totally true. That's about the most frustrated you hear anybody in this Rangers organization sound. And that's a credit to them and to their clubhouse. But again, back to the pitching staff, would be really easy for them to kind of let down a little bit. Offense is struggling. Offense is absolutely just not doing what they're supposed to be doing, not living up to potential. It would be easy for the pitchers to get in their heads about it. Again, I know they get paid millions of dollars. They're still humans. They got emotions. They get frustrated, all those things. I love that the pitching staff really appears to just continue to rise to the challenge of overcoming the bad offense. You love to see it. Jose Ureña, 5 perfect innings tonight. Like I said, really thought maybe it was going to be one of those special nights for him. And look, it was. Let's not take anything away from him. Can you believe, though, you look at the records of some of our pitchers, and I know this is like an old tired story, all right, but I just can't believe Jose Ureña is 2-5. That's his record. And I know that pitching record is not what it once was. Back in the late 90s, even early 2000s, a lot of people were really in love with pitching record, winning 20 games, right? If you were a 20-game winner as a pitcher, that was like elite of the elite. Right now, nobody cares about that anymore. Jacob deGrom, I don't know how many games he won in his Cy Young year with the Mets. Probably, about 5-6 seasons ago? It wasn't close to 20 games. It's a good thing, right? Pitching record does not really truly show how good a pitcher is. So for me, I appreciate that they've moved away a little bit in Major League Baseball from this overemphasis on pitching record, wins and losses. Jose Ureña is 2-5. Andrew Heaney is 2-6. Neither one of those guys deserves to be 2-6, 2-5. And then you've got a guy like Taijuan Walker for the Phillies who has like a 5 ERA, but was undefeated when we played him, right? He was like 4-0 when we faced Taijuan Walker of the Phillies. It's all about a little bit of luck, a little bit of fortune. Obviously, you've got to pitch well and keep your team in the games to win, but it just doesn't look right seeing Jose Ureña at 2-5. And so he was at 1-5 coming into this game. But look, he pitched phenomenally. Robertson and Yates come in, get a little bit of work. Of course, we've got the off day coming tomorrow. So kind of makes sense that those guys would get some time out there tonight. Robertson goes an inning and a third. He finishes out the 7th inning, pitches the 8th as well. 3 strikeouts from Robertson tonight. 2.86 ERA on the season. His ERA ballooned a little bit, giving up some of the home runs that he did, I think, in that Twin series. And then Yates goes 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Yates lowers that ERA to 0.84 on the season. So those guys just continue to anchor the back end of this bullpen. You just love to see it. The bullpen has been pitching great. I know Leclerc gave up the home run to Rogers in game 1 of this 3-game set. Like I said, really the past 2 nights, I can't get on Leclerc or the bullpen right now or the pitching. It was all about the offense in this series, and finally the offense shows up. So let's talk about it a little bit. First of all, Corey Seager finishes a couple of at-bats, is able to get that on-base streak extended. Is it up to 28 games, 27 or 28 games now? Very, very impressive from Siegs. I did just get a notification on my phone that at least what Bochy is saying about the injury, hamstring injury, left hamstring, is that it's nothing serious. So I don't know what that means. I'm assuming he's going to probably be missing a couple of games. Wouldn't shock me if Seager missed the Giants series at minimum. Hopefully it's not like a Wyatt Langford type hamstring where he's out for a month, but it's good to hear Bochy saying it's not too serious. That's awesome. So I hope that Seager will be back quickly. Rangers just cannot catch a break with the injury bug. Just cannot catch a break with that injury bug right now. So I hope that this is something minor. If we lost Siegs for a month, man, that would just be a kick where the sun don't shine. Seriously. I mean, we are just trying to get guys back healthy at the end of June here. Got a bunch of updates over the past few days, right? Josh Young going to be coming back here around the end of June, early July. Scherzer coming back at the end of June. You've got all these guys. DeGrom probably coming back after the All-Star break. You've got this positive momentum trending towards all these guys coming back healthy. And then you have something like this happen with Siegs. I really do hope it's like maybe he's out a week or something like that. Maybe he misses 2 series. If he misses a month, that's tough. I'm not saying it's insurmountable. In fact, everybody who watched the Rangers passionately last year knows at the beginning of the year, we lost Corey Seager, the same injury, right? It was the hamstring. Last year, we missed him for 6 weeks with that hamstring injury, something like that. And the Rangers played arguably their best baseball of the season while Siegs was out last year. Now, can we expect that this year? I mean, I'm a little bit worried, just being real with how the offense has been up to this point. But I will say this, they did it last year. I believe they can do it again this year. It's just not ideal, and the timing couldn't be worse as you're trying to move in that positive trend of getting all of these guys back from injury. Again, Josh Young in a few weeks here, Scherzer in a few weeks here, right? You've got DeGrom maybe after the All-Star break in about a month. I mean, all these things are just really, really positive signs. Sean Gray, he was throwing today. Molly was throwing to batters. You've just got so much positive momentum building. I really just hope that Siegs injury isn't anything crazy. But kudos to him extending the on-base streak. Of course, the hitting streak came to an end, but I believe he's up to 28 games on base in a row. It's his career high, by the way, so every time Siegs gets on base again in this streak, he's just extending out his career high. So Corey Seager just getting better and better with age as the years go by. You love to see it. Hopefully he heals up quick. And the other notables, I think, in the box score tonight, we have, of course, Jonah Heim and Josh Smith. Josh Smith goes 3 for 4. Jonah Heim goes 3 for 5. Both Josh Smith and Jonah Heim tonight, triple shy of the cycle. They had each one of them had a double, home run, single. Each one of them needed the triple to complete that cycle. It wasn't meant to be. But man, was it good to see Jonah Heim, especially Jonah Heim, break out and have a good game. I know that in the video I put out before the game today, Jonah Heim was hitting 151 in his last 15 games. 151. And it was like 160 or 170 in his past 7 games. Jonah Heim needed so badly to have a game like he had tonight. And I really hope that Jonah Heim, that this is the start of something good, because we need his bat right now. The 95 RBI that he had last year, right? The reason why he got voted in as an all-star last year, his hot start to 2023. Of course, he does it with his glove, that gold glove that he's got behind the plate. That's always going to be there. But the bat was slumping a little bit for Jonah Heim. So to see him come out today, blast that home run, drive some pitches out into the outfield, I just love to see it. The Rangers need that bat. He's hitting middle of the order when it's lefties up. Usually he was hitting 5th last night. Was hitting 5th, I believe, when Scooble was pitching. When you've got a guy in the middle of the order batting 151 in his last 15 games, that's just not going to be a great recipe for success. So Jonah Heim, I hope this is the start of good things for him. Great game. And of course, was it tonight that his father-in-law threw out the first pitch? Thought I saw that on social media. Wasn't sure if it was yesterday or tonight's game. But what a cool moment, right? Of course, Jonah Heim's mother-in-law passed away from ALS earlier this season. So thoughts and prayers continuing on with the family. That just can't be easy, even a month after it had happened. And so Jonah Heim, his family being out there for that first pitch tonight, special moment, even cooler that he's able to have a great game tonight and be a big part of the reason why the Rangers get a 9-1 win in the final game of this series with the Tigers. So we go to Josh Smith, and Josh Smith becomes even more important now if Corey Seager is out for any amount of time. So I'm assuming Josh Smith is going to be taking over everyday shortstop responsibilities between him and Duran. I like the arm. I like the glove of Josh Smith better. So I think that's probably a pretty easy move for Bochy and the coaching staff, sliding Smith in the shortstop spot. And we'll see what they do. We'll see if Josh Smith moves up, maybe just takes Sieg's spot in the lineup and goes 2-hole. We'll see if they keep him in the 3 spot. It'll be interesting to see how they maneuver the lineup this weekend against the Giants. I'm curious what they're going to end up putting out there. They're going to need guys to step up, right? Dolly needs to step up right now. If Siegs is out for more than a week, even if he's out for 1 week, we need Garcia heating up. Tonight, 0 for 4, did have a walk, but 3 strikeouts. Dolly hitting .223 on the year. I really, really feel like it is just about time. That guy is due for a hot streak. It feels like it, but they need Dolly, especially if Siegs is out, to start hitting well. And right now, the same thing can be said of Nate Lowe, too, who I was glad to see was on base 3 times tonight. No extra base hits. I don't think, nope, looking at the box score, no extra base hits for Lowe. But just seeing him come through, I think that the Rangers are going to need some guys to step up and start playing better, start hitting better. I know that's such an oversimplification of it, but the Rangers have pretty much all the same guys that won them a World Series last year, and some of those guys just are not hitting well. So, yeah, I'll go to the comments real quick and check a couple of things out. So, I agree. I think Smith goes up into the 2 spot, and I think, yeah, maybe you do end up going Lowe 3 spot. I could see that. I don't think that Lowe has been going great the past couple of weeks, but let's be real, the options are kind of limited right now. The options are limited. I think you want to leave Dolly in that 4 spot. The only other alternatives, I think, for the 3 spot, maybe you think about Jonah Heim in the 3 spot if Siegs is out for any amount of time. Maybe you think about moving Langford back there, but that would probably be one of my least favorite options. Langford tonight goes 1 for 5. Langford, for me, I think he's going to end up staying up with the club for a while just by nature of the injuries. I know there's a lot of talk to send him down to AAA. That could still be a possibility. I don't know. I don't feel like Langford is going very well right now. I just don't. That at bat that he had, what was it in the first inning, right? So what a weird game. Maeda goes down with the injury 3 pitches into the game, or was it 2 pitches into the game? The Tigers starter Kenta Maeda leaves the game in his at-bat with Simeon. It was just kind of a weird start to the game, honestly. But then the lefty for Detroit comes in, walks 3 straight batters, and then Wyatt Langford works a 3-0 count. Of course, you're taking on 3-0, but then Wyatt Langford whiffs on a fastball middle in, and then swings at a fastball that was probably, maybe a foot above the zone. Just not a great at-bat from him. Just doesn't look comfortable, doesn't look right up there. I really would like to see Wyatt Langford potentially go back down to AAA and get some confidence, but I just think with the injuries, it's not going to be a possibility. And so they're going to have to just take the lumps with Langford, I think. I really want Langford to do well. Definitely don't want this to come off as any kind of I don't like Wyatt Langford or I'm hating on the guy. I'm not, but I just worry that right now he is just in a funk that he's not going to be able to get out of very easily. Who knows what the click is going to be for him, the light bulb, whatever you want to call it. But Wyatt Langford not really driving the ball. The hits are just singles, ground balls that are finding holes here and there. I just don't love what I'm seeing from Langford. It's not like I can say, man, 105 off the bat and it's just right at somebody. Dude's just getting unlucky. I mean, yeah, he's had some at-bats and some hits like that, but I feel like a lot of the times what you get with Langford is a ground ball somewhere, or maybe like a little loop-de single into the outfield. It doesn't feel like the contact is consistently at that high 90s, low 100s exit velocity. Not that you're going to be consistently hitting a ball over 100 miles an hour in terms of exit velo. But look, Wyatt Langford, for me, want to see him hit the ball harder, want to see him start to use that power that we all know he has. Right now, he just doesn't look comfortable up there. And I think if there weren't so many injuries right now, you might see him potentially get a send down. But with Carter out for a month, and with the Rangers really needing all the offense they can possibly get, and without really any clear replacement for Langford, right? The only real alternatives that you could really go to at this point would be like Derek Hill, right? Or maybe another guy down on the AAA team who's probably not going to be any better than Langford. So I think Langford's going to be up, but it does just look like he's not completely comfortable up there right now. Beyond that, though, on the box score, doesn't look like there's a whole lot notable for us to go through. We had Semien going 1 for 3 with 2 walks. So ever since that day off, Marcus Semien is on one. That dude is on a heater right now, on a hot streak. Another guy we're going to need if Corey Seager is missing any amount of time. So good to see Semien on base 3 different times, averages up to 264 on the year. And Semien, of course, when he's going, setting the table for everybody else, this offense just looks a whole lot better. So beyond that, that's pretty much our box score review. We went through the pitching already. Ureña, Robertson, Yates combined to allow only 2 hits from the Tigers, 1 walk. So 3 base runners for the Tigers tonight in 9 innings, 11 strikeouts. Man, that is a beautiful box score for the pitching staff. And I feel like we're saying that a lot lately. The pitching staff has come into play nearly every single game. And man, as Rangers fans, y'all know this. We cannot always say that for the years past. Most of the time, the offense was always killing it, and the pitching staff was terrible. Now we've got kind of the opposite effect, although this offense is more than capable of getting back to where we know they can be in terms of the production last year down the stretch in the postseason. I don't know if there's anything else you can say beyond they're not meeting their potential right now, and everybody's just got to be a little bit better. I don't think there's any quick, easy fixes per se. I just think that some of our guys that are very talented need to play better, right? A lot of the guys that got us to a World Series championship last year need to get on base more, need to get more hits. I know that it's oversimplifying it, but I really don't think there's a whole lot more this Rangers organization can do beyond trading for somebody, right? Besides trading for somebody outside the organization to improve the offense, which might be an option depending on how the Rangers do over the next month or so. If you see the Rangers piece together some wins, I think this is an important stretch. I think a lot of the front office is going to be looking at the club and seeing how are they responding? How are they going to play down the stretch of this next 3-4 weeks? And we'll see where the Rangers stand in terms of their win-loss record, how they're doing in the standings. That's going to determine a lot whether the Rangers are going to hold or possibly buy or possibly sell. Right? I said last night, if the Rangers drop 10 games below 500, I think you do start to think to yourself, who can we sell off that has an expiring contract and maybe improve the farm system or just get a little bit better for next year. But if the Rangers can hang around 500, maybe even be a little above 500 near the trade deadline, I have no idea why you wouldn't be a buyer. So that is my absolute hope and prayer, is that the Rangers can hang on. Just hang on this month of June. Hopefully they can be buyers at the deadline, get a bat, get a bullpen arm, and go down and hopefully have the same type of success they had in the second half of last season. That is just what we're putting out there right now. We're putting that out in the air, trying to get those positive vibes out there for this Rangers club that has actually won 6 of their last 9 games. So for all the frustration that maybe you saw after the first 2 games of this series, let's try and go big picture here. The Rangers have won 6 of their last 9. 6-3 in their last 9 games. That's great. That's very respectable. And as we look forward to the weekend, you've got the Giants in town. The Giants did win today, but before their win today, the Giants were on a 6-game losing streak, which obviously the Rangers, they know a thing or two about 6-game losing streaks. Of course, before they beat the Twins, was it? On that Sunday, they were on a 6-game losing streak themselves. So to see the Giants come into town should be fun with the, Bochy history. Of course, Bruce Bochy winning 3 World Series rings with the Giants. A lot of history there. That should be a fun matchup for the Rangers this weekend. And I think it is a favorable matchup for the Rangers this weekend. You really want to see the Rangers take 2 out of 3 against the Giants. That's what I really want to see at minimum. A sweep would be great, but take 2 out of 3. This is a ball club coming into town that the Rangers can absolutely win a series against. And we're going to go ahead right now and preview the Giants series for you. Then we'll do a little AL West roundup. We'll look at comments. If y'all have any topics you want to talk about, any questions you have for me, throw it out in the comment section. I'll be checking a little bit more closely at this point. But right now, let's go ahead and let's try and take a look at that Giants series and see what we've got going on. I would assume that there's going to be a few of our standard guys throwing, if I had to guess. I know that it's getting pretty close to Heaney's turn in the rotation. I'm sure that Dunning might be throwing on maybe Sunday, but I'm kind of interested to see who the Giants are throwing out there at this point. So my computer's lagging on me a little bit, technology, as they say. But let's check this out here, huh? So the Giants on Friday night, I bet I'm going to get some to be determined if I had to guess. On Friday night, looks like we have, starting for us, it will be, come on now, where's it at? Oh, so here it is, guys. Sorry about that. Lorenzen throwing on Friday night for us. And then we get we get a pretty tough pitcher on Friday night from the Giants. We got Webb throwing for the Giants on Friday night. That's going to be a little tough. Logan Webb is a real good pitcher, 2.95 ERA, records 4-5, but we talked about that. Pitching record really doesn't always tell the full story. So let's look at the preview of the matchup, the career numbers, and let's see what we got here. So right now, there's kind of a small sample size on the Rangers side. Seager and Semien do have double-digit at-bats against Webb. I don't think Seager's probably going to be playing on Friday if I had to guess, but maybe. Siegs is hitting 182 off Webb and 11 at-bats, so maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. But Semien is 3 for 12 with an RBI, 250 average against Webb in his career. We've got Kisner, 2 for 4 in his career, and then looks like Ezekiel Duran is 1 for 2. Not a whole lot of numbers really to talk about beyond that in terms of Rangers' career numbers off Logan Webb. On the other side, Lorenzen. We've got a few guys with double-digit at-bats. Conforto is 3 for 10 in his career off Lorenzen. Estrada, the second baseman, is 3 for 6. Flores looks like 5 for 12, and he has a home run off Lorenzen. And then we have, looks like Yastrzemski 1 for 3. So kind of a mixed bag. I'm not seeing anything that's crazy jumping off the screen that worries me about the matchup either way. But we are going to have to face a tough pitcher on Friday night. Logan Webb is one of the good ones, man. But Lorenzen has been equally pretty solid. Logan Webb, 2.95 ERA. Mike Lorenzen, 2.96 ERA. So we could be in for a little pitcher's duel on Friday night. Let's check out the rest of the weekend here. So on Saturday, after Friday night's matchup, Saturday looks like to be determined. Again, I would think probably Heaney, Dunning going to be throwing Saturday, Sunday, if I had to guess. John Gray, I think, is going to be back in the fold eventually, but don't know if we're going to see him in this Giants series. So more on the pitching matchups on Saturday and Sunday, maybe after Friday night's game. Tomorrow, off day, that'll be good for the Rangers to get some rest, heal up, and hopefully get everybody ready to go in a good mindset and a good place for this weekend series. Let's go ahead real quick before we wrap up, and let's take a look at the scores around the AL West. So for tonight, a few games are final. Looks like there's maybe one or two. Oh, nope. The last one just went final. A's beat the Mariners tonight, 2-1 in Oakland. So the Rangers are able to gain a game on the Mariners in the standings. The Angels beat the Padres tonight in Anaheim. And the Cardinals topped the Astros in Houston 4-2. So we've got pretty much everybody losing in the AL West tonight, except for the Rangers and the A's. We'll take that. Any day the Rangers win and the Astros and Mariners lose, it is an outstanding day. So the Rangers now 4.5 games back of first place. Look, I think the perspective also needs to be, okay, they've won 6 of their last 9. They're 4.5 games out of first place, having played pretty terribly. The Rangers are less than 5 games out of first place. And I think most of us would say the Rangers offensively have been, by and large, pretty terrible most of the season. But I don't think that's too strong of a word. This team has not been scoring runs, has not been living up to their potential. They are capable of so much, but it hasn't been there up to this point in the season. So if you told me that the Rangers would be this bad offensively, but less than 5 games out of first place, like 2 months into the season, I would take it. With this many injuries, the second half could be really, really special. And by the way, I know that maybe some people are going to roll the eyes or laugh at this one, but I don't think there's a better time to take the Rangers on a futures bet. They're like 30-1 right now. I think they might have dropped even more after last night's loss. But if you think that the Rangers are going to bounce back this year, which I know a lot of Rangers fans are a little skeptical of, I'm not one of them. I feel like the Rangers have a very good chance of bouncing back and having a great second half. There's no better time to put some money down on a Rangers futures bet than right now. I don't think you're going to get a better price on the Rangers than you are on June 5th before they get all of these guys back healthy. So for what it's worth, just passing it on from one Rangers fan to another. Now, in the AL West standings, we talked about the Rangers 4.5 back. The Stros are 7 games back of first place. A's are 10 games back. Angels are 10.5 games back. And let's go ahead and let's take a look at who those other teams are playing this weekend. So we've got, looks like next game for the Rangers. I think that there's actually some teams that are still wrapping up series, but Houston is going to go to Anaheim. So the Angels and Stros will be beating up on each other. Looks like the A's and the Mariners are going to be finishing out their series tomorrow. And then we've got, let me see who the Mariners are going to be having over the weekend and who the A's have over the weekend as well. Interested to see that. So the Mariners over the weekend will be playing the Royals in Kansas City. There we go. I think that's a positive sign. The Royals are 36-26 right now. We were fortunate to get 2 out of 3 in KC. We'll see if the Mariners can match that. But Mariners playing a good Kansas City Royals team over the weekend. And the A's will stay in Oakland to play the Blue Jays, who are a few games under 500 and kind of underperforming at this point. Hopefully the Royals can beat up on the Mariners. We'll be big Angels fans this weekend. Hopefully the Angels can beat up on the Astros and we can sweep the Giants. Wouldn't that be a perfect weekend? Oh, yes, and of course, hopefully the Mavs can get a couple wins in Boston this weekend. I'm pumped for game 1 of the finals tomorrow night. I am really hoping the Mavs can steal one. Steal one in Boston, steal game 1 in Boston, and then you never know what can happen. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Mavs, kind of favoring the Celtics a little too much. Look, who knows what's going to happen, but the Mavs have the best player in the series, and I don't think it's particularly close. And of course, Kyrie, still one of the most elite basketball players in the league. I think it's hard to pick against those two guys. Of course, I'm a big Mavs fan, but from the outside looking in, even from the people that aren't Mavs fans, I think it's just hard to bet against what Luka and what Kyrie and what this entire Mavs team is doing right now. And the Mavs are the underdogs. You're going to get great value, and you got the best player in the series. I don't know. I like it. We've been here before, though. Mavs, big underdogs. It doesn't get much bigger underdog than what the Mavs did in 2011 against the Heat. So really nothing phases me anymore in the finals. If Dirk could do it to the LeBron James Heat, I don't have any doubts that Luka and Kyrie can beat the Celtics. I am pumped for game one tomorrow. Kind of fun. It works out. Rangers day off tomorrow. I can devote full attention to the Mavs, which I absolutely love to get to do because obviously during these playoffs, of course, Stars fans, Rangers fans, and Mavericks fans, if you're all three of those, there were some pretty stressful nights where everybody was playing on a given night. I mean, for me, I love it, but it'll be kind of nice tomorrow to just be able to lock in on Mavs. So we will be live again Friday night, and we will probably put out a video sometime in the early afternoon on Friday. Maybe we'll have something out tomorrow night. I always say this, we might just take the whole day off. Who knows? But before we leave, want to say another special thank you to everybody who's watching, commenting. Thank you for following the channel, for subscribing. And if you're not following, you're not subscribing, please, I greatly appreciate it. Follow along with us so you can stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that we put out. And of course, get notified anytime we go live, which is almost after every Rangers game. And then please, if you know somebody who loves the Rangers, which I'm sure you do, share this with them. Share this account with them. I would greatly appreciate it. That would mean so much to me. So thank you once again. Hope all of y'all have a great rest of your Wednesday night. Hope to see you on Friday night or sometime later this weekend, or maybe on the replay. And as we always say here at Right on Rangers, God bless. Go Rangers.